1998, during the recording of a sitcom that has an animal friend as a protagonist, the popping of a balloon startles Gordy the chimpanzee. This causes it to attack and kill most of its human co-stars. In the present day, Otis and his son OJ work on the training and handling of horses that they rent for film and advertising productions. One morning OJ notices his phone isn't working and hears a woman screaming from above, followed by the noise of various small things falling to the ground. Suddenly, OJ finds his father frozen while still on the horse, and when the animal moves, Otis falls to the ground, bleeding. OJ rushes to take Otis to the hospital, but unfortunately, he doesn't make it, and the poor man dies because of a nickel that got through his eye when it fell from the sky. When OJ returns home, he notices there's a key stuck on a horse's body. 6 months later, one of the ranch's horses is rented for a commercial directed by the famous cinematographer Holst. Otis used to be in charge of bringing the animals to the studio, but now it's OJ's job, and he doesn't have experience talking to people. He's simply too shy and awkward. Fortunately, his sister Em shows up to do the talking. She explains that loud noises are forbidden, same for sudden movements, and phones should be off at all times. Now everyone can get ready to shoot, but sadly, the horse is startled when it accidentally sees its own reflection, and its forceful reaction gets the siblings fired. After they leave the studios, instead of going home, OJ takes his sister and the horse to a small western theme park called Jupiter's Claim. While OJ takes the horse to the stable, Em looks around the park, finding a camera inside a well for a funny shot and a giant balloon representing Jupes, the cowboy character this park is dedicated to. Then, the siblings go to see the owner, who happens to be a now adult Jupe. Because the ranch is deep in financial problems, OJ has already sold 10 of his father's horses to Jupe, and today he's come to sell one more since they couldn't get the job. While negotiating with Jupe, OJ expresses interest in possibly buying the horses back in the future, but Jupe is hesitant and instead offers to buy the ranch. Their conversation is interrupted when Em begins looking around Jupe's little museum and finds a reference to Gordy's massacre plus a picture of little Jupe fist-bumping Gordy. It turns out that after playing a cowboy in a western, Jupe played the little boy in Gordy's show. He also was one of the only survivors of the chimpanzee attack. Jupe usually sells tickets to people to see all the props he keeps from that day, but today he gives the siblings a tour for free. When Em asks what really had happened with Gordy the day of the attack though, Jupe tells her to watch the SNL skit instead of giving her details, but it's still enough to make him remember his younger self hiding under the table with blood drops on his face. In the evening, the siblings return to the ranch and drink from Otis' old stash. Em gets emotional when she finds a picture of Jean Jacket, the horse that had been supposed to be her first, but Otis ended up sending it to a movie production. OJ still thinks their father changed the industry, and that's why he refuses to sell the ranch to Jupe. Suddenly Em notices there's a horse in the arena when it's supposed to be in its stable. OJ goes to check on it before Em begins playing music rather loudly, and as soon as OJ turns around to scold his sister, the horse runs away. OJ gets in his car and follows the footprints into Jupe's property, where he can hear Jupe's show in the distance surrounded by lights. At that moment, power goes off at the ranch for just a few seconds, and OJ begins hearing some shrieking. After looking at the sky, OJ decides it's better to return to the ranch without getting back the horse. At the ranch, Em helps his brother check the security footage, but she doesn't understand what he's looking for. Then, he confesses that to him it never made sense that the things that fell on the ranch and killed their father came from a plane as the police had said. Tonight he heard the horse make a sound he never heard a horse make before, and saw something huge in the sky. It was incredibly fast and too quiet to be a plane, which could only mean one thing. Em decides to trust OJ's alien theory, and the next day, they go to Fry's Electronics to buy some cameras, hoping to record this UFO and make money. Employee Angel offers his services to install everything, but the siblings turn him down. When they begin discussing the camera's backup batteries, OJ mentions how he isn't sure he trusts them and explains what happened to his phone the day his father died, to which Angel replies that wasn't normal unless the ranch is in a UFO hotspot. It's just a joke, but the siblings realize how little they understand about the subject and allow Angel to do the installation. While he works, he tells OJ all about alien conspiracy theories and how sure he is there's something out there waiting to get them. Their chat is interrupted when Em shows up with their bait, a horse statue that has a garland tangled around it, proving she stole it from Jupe's park. Speaking of Jupe, he shows up to drop a flyer, inviting the siblings to his new family show. When night falls, OJ hears some noises coming from the stables. He goes to investigate and finds the lights on, but as soon as he turns them off, they are turned on again. Suddenly, two alien-like creatures appear in front of him. OJ begins stepping back as he takes out his phone to record, only to be startled by a third being showing up behind him. In his shock, OJ hits the creature, who drops to the floor and reveals they are just Jupe's kids in disguise, pranking the ranch for having stolen the horse statue. The kids run away, but OJ notices that as part of the prank, they freed one of the real horses. While OJ goes to retrieve the animal, Em notices a bug covering camera A, which is on the roof. Angel calls her to inform her of the same thing because he's kept access to the cameras on his laptop after the installation. He also points out that camera B, which is further down the road, is down for no reason. OJ finds the horse and tries to bring it back, but the horse gets scared and runs off as it pushes OJ to the ground. In the minute that it takes OJ to get up again, the horse statue disappears and now the garland can be seen hanging from a cloud. Angel gets frustrated because he can't see anything since the bug is still there, and the siblings arrive at the conclusion that the UFO is hiding in the cloud right before they hear it roar. As OJ runs to hide in the stables, power goes out in the ranch, and M's phone goes out too. Camera A is still going thanks to the backup battery, so M climbs to the roof to try to make it look up, but throwing things at it isn't enough. At the stable, OJ watches the UFO take his horse before quickly flying away, which instantly allows the power to come back on. Afterward, M wants to leave the ranch for the sake of their safety, but OJ refuses because he needs to stay with the remaining horses. That night OJ dreams of Otis and the day he taught him that some horses like Jean Jacket can be territorial and aren't fit to be trained. The next day M calls Holst to ask for his experience to help them record the UFO, but he turns them down and hangs up. Moments later, Angel shows up to look at the sky near the ranch and confirms something he's seen on the security footage. There's one cloud that hasn't moved in 6 months. Because the thing they saw last night didn't move like a ship, OJ thinks it's a big monster that hides behind the cloud until it gets hungry. This would confirm his theory that the UFO killed his dad, and it picks up animals to eat, then spits out any inorganic debris. Unfortunately, just a funny cloud is still not big enough proof to call the press. Sometime later, before getting ready for his next show, Jupe remembers what truly happened the day Gordy went crazy. They had been recording as usual until the balloon popped and sent Gordy in a frenzy, so little Jupe rushed to hide under the table and had to watch how the animal killed most of his fellow cast members. Then, Gordy came closer to fist bump Jupe, but before it could touch the kid, the police shoot Gordy down, getting chimpanzee blood all over Jupe. At the ranch, Angel is protecting the cameras from an incoming storm and OJ finds Jupe's flyer promoting the show. He realizes then that Jupe must have been using the horses he sold him as bait for the show, and that's why he had been hesitant when OJ asked him to sell them back in the future. Jupe can't return the horses because the alien ate them. Determined not to lose any more of his father's beloved animals, OJ decides to pay the themed park a visit to take back the last horse he sold. Back to Jupe, he's starting the show by introducing the audience to his wife and his kids, who are wearing the alien costumes again because it's part of the merchandise. Joining them today is also the other cast member that survived Gordy's attack, a woman that is now deformed and wheelchair-bounded. With OJ's horse in a cage in the middle of the arena, Jupe announces the alien should be here in an hour because it shows up at the same time every day. However, since the previous day one of its victims had been just a horse statue, today the UFO gets hungry faster and shows up at the arena right now. Jupe opens the cage, but the horse refuses to go out, and the alien ends up eating the people instead. By the time OJ arrives at the arena, it's completely empty except for the horse. OJ tries to call it over, not daring to come closer because the alien is still flying above them. In fact, the UFO sees him and tries to eat him, so OJ hides in the nearest building and passes out as he falls because of the alien's windy push. When OJ wakes up, night has fallen, the storm has begun, and the horse is fine. He tries to call M to confirm his theory had been right, but at that moment, the power goes out again and the line dies. Angel, who is on his way home, can guess what's happening when his van stops in the middle of the road, so he runs back to the ranch to find a knife and hide among the furniture with M. At that moment, the alien stops above the ranch to spit out all the belongings from the people it ate, and also covers the house with blood. During the whole process, M and Angel can hear the screaming of the victims. OJ returns to the ranch with the horse and thinks of getting out of the car, but as soon as he hears the monster roar, he says nope and stays inside. This almost gets him killed anyway, because the alien drops a Jupe statue that falls on top of the car. After napping for a couple of hours, OJ wakes up when the power finally returns. It isn't raining anymore, and Angel and M are having a fight over if it's a good idea to leave the house or not. OJ rushes out of his car and moves to Angel's van, opening the door so that the radio can be heard. Now knowing he's outside, Angel and M get out of the house intending to join OJ, but suddenly, the power goes out again when the creature reappears. Then OJ remembers something. His horse hadn't liked it when it saw its own reflection, so OJ makes sure not to look up, keeping his eyes on the ground. The trick works and the UFO flies by without noticing him, and as soon as Angel and M get in the van, the three of them drive away. When they arrive in the city, the trio goes out for food and tries to think of what to do. Meanwhile, Holst is watching the news and discovers what happened to Jupe and his people. This is enough to change his mind, so he calls M to tell her he'll do the recording of the UFO. The trio returns to the ranch the next morning and finds the horses fine. Holst is also already there waiting for them. OJ shares what he's learned about not having to look up at the alien, who he's nicknamed Jean Jacket like the horse M couldn't have because it was untamable. OJ also accepts to be the bait to draw Jean out, and the team begins planning the trap that will be recorded by Holst's hand-cranked film camera, which doesn't require electricity. Getting things ready takes them the whole day, thus the plan begins the next morning. M plays music rather loudly again, this time coming out of speakers they've installed on the roof. This also turns on a bunch of Tube Man props they've scattered all over the field, so if any of them go down, they'll be able to guess Jean's location even if it's hiding behind the clouds. While Holst records with Angel and M keeps an eye on the security cameras, OJ rides his horse to the middle of the field to watch the Tube Men. Their plan is interrupted by the sudden arrival of a bike, and when M comes out to send this guy called Ryder away, she discovers he's with TMZ. Ryder ignores M's warnings, and since he can't get an interview out of her, he rides to the field, where the Tube Men are starting to drop. Soon the electric motorcycle shuts down too and Ryder falls to the ground, getting too hurt to move. OJ approaches Ryder with the intention of saving him, but as soon as he gets closer, Jean Jacket shows up and OJ has to ride his horse away as fast as possible. Jean Jacket eats horse away as fast as possible. Jean Jacket eats Ryder and ignores OJ for now because he's looking down. However, once OJ reaches the position he had agreed on with his friends, he puts up the hood of his sweatshirt, which has gotten two big eyes sewn on it to get Jean's attention. This is the beginning of what the team calls the run. OJ is supposed to lure Jean Jacket in the right direction so Holst can get the perfect shot of their chase. The run goes well and OJ gets to hide inside the stables before Jean can catch him. However, Holst realizes the light has been against them all this time, which means the footage will be worthless. Not willing to give up yet, Holst takes the camera up the hill and lets Jean come to eat him just so he can record the process from the inside. Afterward, Jean Jacket comes after Angel, who has become entangled in tarp and barbed wire because of the wind caused by the UFO. When Jean Jacket tries to eat him, it gets hurt by the barbed wire and spits him right out. The pain pisses the creature off so much that it makes it change forms. M runs to Ryder's bike, but it's still not working because of Jean's presence, so she keeps her eyes down. OJ manages to get back on his horse and looks up on purpose to lure Jean Jacket away from his sister. Once they're far enough, the bike begins working again and M rides it toward the themed park while Jean comes after her next. At the park, M releases the balloon mascot, then rushes to the camera in the well to begin taking as many shots as possible while Jean Jacket swallows the balloon, which quickly explodes. This explosion hurts Jean Jacket badly, seemingly killing it. As the press begins arriving at the area, Angel and M celebrate their victory. Not only M now has the pictures that will save their financial situation, but she also gets to reunite with an unharmed OJ and